Wait, before you look at the opponent next week, there's just some interesting things that just happened, particularly to the Jaguars. I think this is a great acquisition. You guys just got Jakobi Meyers from the Oakland Raiders, bringing another person in who's tough, that makes the catches in the middle. I think this is one of the best trades during the middle of the season to get somebody who is a tough receiver, who makes a lot of great plays. I think this is one of those kind of missing pieces that we were talking about. We found the guy who doesn't care about his body, that just wants to make big plays. I had a chance to play with Jakobi his rookie year, and he was just one of those tough guys that just did everything, special teams, whatever it took to get on the field, whatever it takes to just win a game.
What's up, everybody? I'm Arik Armstead. Welcome to another episode of Third and Long. Of course, I'm with my co-host, Michael Bennett. What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. I mean, I can't complain. This has been a great little couple weeks. Get to see some games. I was down at the Commanders versus Seahawks game, so that was a pretty good experience. Although
you went to that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Shoot. Seahawks are good. They smacked them boys.
Yeah, they smacked y'all too, didn't they?
20 to 12.
That smacked.
That smacked?
Yeah, they ain't smack them like that though.
That's crazy.
Nah. But it feels like that they were every single thing was working. I mean,
Yeah, they definitely beat us. But
I'm saying they beat y'all, but they definitely smacked the Commanders though. I think
sure.
offensively, I mean, at one point, Sam Darnold was 16 for 16, 282 yards. Like he didn't have an incomplete pass, and JSN was just, I mean, he's the top receiver in the NFL right now.
Yeah, he's going stupid.
He has crazy ability. Like sometimes.
What you think makes him special? He's not super, big. He doesn't look like super fast. Is it like his shiftiness? His just finds a way to get open?
I think JSN is just an intelligent player. I think he understands the system, where the holes are going to be in defenses, and then really DBs can't really press him because he's super strong. He has that type of body type where he's kind of fooling you a little bit. He's kind of short and kind of stocky a little bit.
Yeah. And
then his feet are so quick that like you can't really get a handle on him. And then when you start playing zone defenses, he knows where the holes are going to be. Like, and he fits right into those pockets, and he's able to, adjust to routes. And he's just a really smart, intelligent player. And his hands.
You think he's like a throwback style receiver?
Yeah, he reminds me of like Marvin Harrison a lot. Like it's just like you can't really pinpoint why this guy is just great. There's bigger receivers like DK Metcalf or fast receivers, like Tyreek Hill, and then like, great possession. I think he has a combination of them all, but I think it's his ability to catch the ball, like his route running, his toughness. He's a tough receiver, so it's like he just fits into that offense so well, and defenses just can't really do anything with him. It's like, so that's kind of the amazing part about it.
It's definitely something to be said about a guy that can just find a way to get open, and get open, catch the ball, be consistent, reliable, throughout a season. And he's balling. He's having an outstanding season. And I didn't watch that game fully, the Seahawks Commanders game. I saw it, I turned it on, I'm like, oh, wow. Because we were traveling back from Vegas for our game. But, I would see it on screen or see someone watching, and I was like, dang, it's a blowout. And, Seahawks are looking very good. Another story from that game was the injury to Jayden Daniels, and that was tough to see. It was a tough week in the NFL as a whole in terms of injuries. A lot of major injuries, which you hate to see, but Jayden Daniels got hurt when the game was out of hand late in the fourth quarter. I think it was around like 7 minutes left, and it was the game was out of hand. And, so there's a lot of talk about should he have been in the game, should he not have been. But, they're a team that's struggling and trying to find their way and get back to kind of how they played last season. What's your take on that? I know you were with DQ Coach Quinn, and that decision to leave Jayden out in that game?
Well, it's very hard, right? Because I think at some point in the game, you think that you always have an opportunity to win. You know, like if your defense is coming back and they start to be able, it's like when we played the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship. At some point, it felt like the game was out of control because we threw 4 interceptions, and then there's an interception, and then they score, and then it's like you try to find a way. When you've been a part of games like that, you feel like you always have an opportunity to win in a gritty situation. And it's like you don't want to take guys out, but then it's like, and then you watch the Broncos and the Giants a couple of weeks ago. They were down 0-19 in the fourth quarter and end up winning the game by a couple of points and scoring 33 in one quarter. I think that you think that you can always have a chance to win, but I think with a quarterback like Jayden Daniels, who's kind of experienced a lot of, he's experienced a lot of injuries early on in his career. I think last year he surprised everybody, but I think injuries was a part of when people think about. Jayden is an outstanding talent, but then you kind of think about the second year in the NFL where everybody starts to key on you and then those little nagging injuries and not being able to get over them. So I think it's a challenging situation. I think from a franchise position, you take Jayden Daniels out, right? Because he is the franchise, and there's, in some ways that game is unwinnable because the Seahawks are firing on every situation. I mean, at some point, the offensive line just couldn't block their defensive line. The receivers can't get open. I think Deebo Samuels he doesn't have the same. He's not the same player that he was in the 49ers where, they could get him open. He could find places to do it. It's like now he becomes a one-trick pony and you don't have Scary Terry. It's just kind of like there's not many weapons for him to throw it to. So there's not really a chance for him to win it. So I think you take him out the game. I love Dan Quinn, but I think at this point, at some point you got to wave the white flag and live to fight another war, because
I saw someone said that, it could, part of it is Jayden had already been out, missed some time, and he's getting back into the fold and, getting those reps. And like you're talking about, they have the potential to be a pretty prolific offense with their weapons. And, like you said, I think Deebo, using him in certain situations, Scary Terry is a deep ball threat. And so I feel like their success last year and going into this season and it really not starting off how they were hoping or expecting. And, I think that kind of could have played a role and a factor in him still being in the game of trying to just get them some reps to get something going, even if it wasn't to – necessarily come back and win this game, maybe get some reps, get some good drives to kind of spark their offense moving forward. But yeah,
and we don't even know. We don't even know if Jayden was the one who wanted to go back in the game. We're just assuming that Dan Quinn did it. Sometimes as a player, you very much are like, I got to be in the game regardless of the situation. Like you're like, I got to be in the I got to be
get
back
some reps.
in the game.
I got to get in the flow.
Yeah, the game, I got to get into the flow. Like, that's a championship type of mindset, too, right? It's like, we're looking at Dan Quinn and saying, did Dan ultimately make this decision? We don't even know what Jayden is. Jayden was like, I need to be in the game. I want to get us a touchdown. I want to be able to get this offense going. I've been out a couple of weeks. I want to be the one who gets us a spark because when you watch that game, he was the only one on the offense who was really trying to get there. At points of the game, there was no blocking. He was running around. He didn't have time to set his feet. So I think he could have been part of the, not issue, but a part of the competitiveness that wanted to win the game.
Yeah,
or
true.
At least challenge to score.
Sometimes coaches gotta protect players from themselves, but
yeah, that's true too.
Definitely wasn't good to see him get injured, and opportunity for Marcus Mariota to try to help that team get things turned around there. A very promising team entering the season. I know a lot of people over there, both in the front office and former teammates. So hopefully they can, get things turned around.
Well, it's hard in that conference when you think about, the Eagles. The Eagles are the team. Dallas Cowboys aren't doing really good. It's kind of a weak conference right now when you think about Dallas can't even beat a 2-5 Arizona team. The Giants can't get a win. The Commanders are down. So it's like the Eagles have a very easy path into getting into the playoffs and having home field advantage because they're the most the best team in the NFC besides the Rams. And it's like, and then you got the Seahawks. It's like there's a lot of good teams in that conference, but and the Seahawks and the Rams will beat each other up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then you have this conference where Dallas isn't very good on defense. This is horrible, one of the most horrible defenses in the NFL outside of the Cincinnati Bengals. And then then you got the Eagles. So it's like, I don't know. Can you beat the Eagles? I'm not sure they can do that.
Yeah, we'll see. Best of wishes to Jayden. Hope you get healthy soon, bro. Switching gears, talking about our game Sunday against the Las Vegas Raiders on the road. Huge win for us. We're now 5-3, and coming off of 2 losses, definitely feels good to get back on the winning page. It wasn't easy by any means, though. The game went all the way into overtime, and we won the game on the last play of the game. Huge, crazy play made by DaVon Hamilton, who is going to be a guest on this show later in this episode. And so can't wait to have him join the show. But crazy game. Your experiences, how games go in this league, it never ceases to amaze me. Anything can really happen on any given Sunday, and we saw another example of that in our game. Crazy back and forth. Very proud of the resiliency of our team showed throughout this game. Wasn't perfect by any means. I felt the offense really moved the ball throughout the game. Red zone was a couple of issues early in the game that, good sustained drives didn't materialize in points. But I thought the offense, moved the ball well. Really proud of the receiving group as well, too. Travis being out, Travis Hunter being out for us. I thought that Parker Washington stepped up with a huge performance, 8 receptions, 90 yards. That was amazing to see. And he's been balling all year, especially on special teams. 2 returns for touchdowns already on special teams. He's looking like a special teams Pro Bowler, All-Pro returner. But getting his opportunity on the offensive side of the ball, showing up in a big way for us was key, which helped us win the game. Travis Etienne, he's been balling all year, and he's really taken his opportunity, grabbed it by the horns, and has ran off with it. I talked to Travis earlier in the year, and this is a different Travis that we're seeing. He's more motivated. He's more locked in more than ever. He's became a father. He's taking care of his body better at an all-time level. He's sleeping more. He's like, man, Arik, I'm getting a little older, and I'm starting to realize really what it means to take care of my body, and I have to, especially playing running back in the league is extremely tough. And he's sleeping better, his nutrition is better, and it's really showing up in his performances on game day. So that was amazing to see as well too. And so really proud to be a part of this team and part of our culture of resiliency and fighting regardless of what's going on in the game, because there definitely was adversity that showed up, especially on the defensive side of the ball for us. So, but, man, it feels good to win. It feels good to be back in that win column, and definitely proud to be a part of this team.
Yeah, I don't see it that positively, honestly. I think you see it more positive than I did. I think obviously a win is very positive. I think these games will get closer and closer because, every team in the NFL has an opportunity to beat you. I think the challenges for the Jags are, not being in these tight games every single week, being able to not be in situations where it always comes down to the last play. But the positive to that is that you have been able to pull it out, against the Chiefs, against teams, to be able to have that last play and to know that if the game does come down to the last minute, that your team can win the game. So I think that's the best positive thing about it. But the Raiders are one of the worst teams in the NFL. Offensively, Geno has been, I love you, Geno, but this hasn't been his best foot forward in the sense that the interceptions, bad things going this way. But this week it felt like he was on, right? He had 4 touchdowns, and he was able to be, complete 28 passes. I think, but when you think about the Jags and what you guys are able to do, I think it is kind of a great situation that even though this team is a bad team, which it really is, you guys were still able to, in the moment, in the most crucial time of the game, somebody on your team made a big play. And I think that continues to happen against the 49ers. You were able to make a key play, get a sack fumble. I think these are the moments that really try to see if the team is a Super Bowl contender or being able to win in a tough conference when it comes to teams like Indiana. Indy is the team that you guys is that team that will be the biggest challenge in y'all conference. Not saying that any other team isn't, but obviously the Texans are having a horrendous year. They just can't find a way to get over that hump, even though they have one of the most talented teams in the NFL. And we can't even get started on the Titans. So it's like that's kind of the situation. It's like there's a great path. And you think about the Jags, since Tom Coughlin and that time when they were in the AFC Championship, there really hasn't been a moment where the Jags have been able to been Duval again, and it's starting to feel like that again. That energy's starting to come back. It's like, yeah, this is a tough game, but to me, I'm still waiting for. There's moments where I feel like Trevor Lawrence is like right there. Then there's moments I'm like, oh man, he's regressed a little bit. But overall, he's still been able to find the chances to win. So I'm looking forward to, because there's other guys on the team that are stepping up. ETN, like you said, he's turned it into one of those backs that not just all purpose, but all game, where it's not like, oh, it's kind of I feel like he's catching the screen here, but to be a consistent back, to be a consistent game in, and then the defense. So I think this was a good game. I'm not, like I said, I think that the Raiders aren't a good team. Like, I think
you said it though. I think what you're saying is how we feel. Yeah. That we are finding ways to win games, but we still feel like we haven't put a complete game together and played our best football, which can be looked at a couple of different ways. You can look at it like, you guys, this is who you are after 9 games, or you can look at it as an opportunity where we're sitting at 5-3 with everything that we want to achieve in front of us, and an opportunity to get better and play our best ball, and continue to show the type of team that we can be. But I think winning games like these, every win is tough in the NFL, and winning games like these can really, like you said, prove it to yourself as a team that, if we're not blowing a team out, or if things aren't going well, like, we can still stay resilient, fight through adversity, and find a way to win, because that's truly, all that matters.
Well, at the end of the day, like you said, it matters if you win, all right? It's like how you win, but it's like at some point in time, it's like you play the Bills, and like.
Yeah. Like you said, when you play better teams, you have to play better. And that's why, I think we have played some good teams throughout the year, and we found ways to beat good teams as well too. But I think the thing that we're both saying here is that there's more there. We got to get better.
More there.
There's more there. We got to get better. And as the season continues to go on, we all need to make improvements, myself included. I got to play better, and we all got to take that individual mind state to how can I get better to help my team win games. And but the opportunities are right there, right in front of us. Also on Sunday,
I was gonna say
History. Yeah.
during our Super Bowl year, like I felt like when you play against a bad team, it's like you still got to be great, and I think that's when you start to really you start to pull away, right? It's like, like do we want to give up points to Geno? It's like, it's like how do we make him continue to not, it's like you don't want to get in a situation where it's like, it's like you want to be the team that like you give up 50 yards, 100 yards passing, just being like a complete defense in the games where
Being dominant.
That's the word right there. It's like it's like I feel like the Jags are so close to being a dominant team, not a winning team, but a dominant team. It's like you're winning, but I feel like it's like when you watch the Bills or you watch the Rams right now, they're a dominant team, and I feel like you guys are very close. I think
that's learned, though. I think that's learned. I think you got to learn how to win first, then you can learn how to truly dominate week in and week out.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
That's where we're at. We're not where we want to be. But I think the thing is learning how to win first, and then, hopefully the goal is to learn how to dominate people week in and week out, regardless of who we're playing and whatever the case, the situation, the time of day, just showing up and dominating. So history was also made on Sunday. Cam Little set the NFL record for the longest field goal in NFL history, which was crazy. Crazy to see. He hit a 70-yarder in preseason, so we know what he was capable of, but hitting a 68-yard field goal in the regular season to set an NFL record, you don't see that every day. So being a part of that
about your coach, though, because it's not that you are that kick happened, right? Because it's like the kick happened because the coach had courage to pull it off. Not every coach would do that. Not every coach would be like, oh, nah. Most coaches are like, oh, we're going to punt. But I think we have a young coach like Liam. It's like you see, to me, that's the guts right there. It takes a lot of guts to say, yo, we're going to kick it. I mean, that changes everything for every single team that's scouting you. Now they get scared. It's like, oh, we can't even, they can kick it from 68 yards. Like, that changes a lot for everybody. Like, the ability to hit 58-yarders and 65-yard field goals is crazy.
Think about this, too. Cam had been struggling the past few weeks. He's been getting, some, early in his career, start off good. And he went through some adversity the last couple weeks, had some misses, and people have been getting on him. You know how it is now. Not playing well, and people get on you. So the really cool thing, I think the best thing about this record and this game that he had was it was coming off of adversity. It was coming off of him missing a couple kicks, and these kickers are. I couldn't be a kicker.
No, I couldn't.
Like
either.
the mental fortitude it takes to be a kicker in the NFL, or a kicker in college too, man. Shoot, college kickers. Imagine the pressure of that, missing a college kick and the season. No more national championship. You got to go back to a college campus, 100,000 kids, being someone who lost the game. So having the mental fortitude as a kicker, and Cam showing his resiliency, it's not like he broke this record coming off of, I ain't missed a kick in weeks, and I just hit a 60-something last week, so I'm just gonna try a little 68 now. Like it's within my range. Like this came off of him struggling. So I'm proud to see that resiliency, and I'm proud of him as a teammate to have this performance, especially after having some struggles.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's like I said, it's still like that whole Cam, that ability to make a field goal like that. I think it kind of has team scouting y'all a lot differently when you start to get into the play calls throughout the week. It changes the way a defense starts to think about it. It starts to think about how a coach is going to prepare his team. It just changes everything to have that ability, and then also have a coach that could go for it on fourth down, that'll kick that field goal. It's like you really can't prepare for that type of situation when you have a young coach who's open to any type of ideas. Old coaches will not want to do that kind of, they're like, nah, let's good. Let's just punt it. Let's kind of get it out there. But in tough games like that, you got to make a decision how you change the energy of your team and being able to persuade everybody to see like, hey, there's always an opportunity for us to win.
It did. It was big for us. It was 6-0 at that time before the half. And getting those points heading into halftime was huge for us. Definitely inspired us to go out and play better football in the second half. Also, history, another historic moment from this past Sunday, Josh Hines-Allen tied the franchise sack record for the Jaguars with 55.5 sacks. And I'm really proud of Josh being his teammate, from one, but having the opportunity to get to know him as a person and a man, see him as a husband, a father, and everything their family has gone through with Wesley's battle of cancer this last year. And to see him come out this season, I know that's been on his mind to break this record and to finally, achieve that and tie the record with a lot of games left to be played is crazy. He's had such a young, promising career. He's been dominating in this league for a long time now, and I'm just really proud to be his teammate, proud to see him accomplish that. And for a franchise that is a young franchise, it's only been 30 years as a team. That's the special opportunity about playing here is you get to make history. You get to be the first to do this. You get to be the first to accomplish this or that. You get to be the first to set records. And so it's cool to see. It's cool to be a part of. That's my brother. And, I know he's not stopping now. I know he has a lot more that he wants to accomplish. And I can't wait to see what he continues to do.
Well, that must have sucked playing for the 49ers because it's like, goddamn, what can I really do? You got a guy who you can't even break Jerry Rice records. And it's just so many records at the 49ers that it's like, you'd have to be there for like 18. You know what I'm saying? It's just like their records are so like.
And two, I feel like back in the day, guys used to be on one team their entire career. Before NFL free agency, if you were drafted there, you were going to be there. Like, it wasn't I'm going to go to another team. Like, guys used to play 15, 16, 18 years at one place. So they jumped out the gate with setting the bar high with the records. I made it on, I think I'm in Niners sacks. I think I made top 10. I was like 9 or 8 or something. And I was there for a while, so it's definitely harder.
Oh, it's definitely harder, right? Because you have a team, then you go like, and that's the thing, right? Like you said, you have a young team. You're able to change the trajectory of how you set the foundation, but then you kind of go into this historical 49ers, which is, back-to-back Super Bowls, one of the best teams of generations. So it's like, those teams are those are always hard teams to break records. So this is a beautiful opportunity for the whole organization to be able to set the tone of, you guys are those people that people can look at in the future and be like, oh, you remember Arik Armstead? You remember Josh Allen's? Like, you guys are those guys, the Jerry Rices, those guys that are able to set the tone, and it's good when the franchise is young. But the Jags had good teams too, like the players that came before in years, like Mark Brunell, just so many great players on that team back in the day.
Fred Taylor, we gotta get Fred on the show.
Oh yeah, Fred. When they went to Super Bowl, it's like a lot of good times with the Jags. So it's like, but But it takes like an organization to build an energy where everybody believes in the dynasty, the ability to go out into games, carry out the playbook, and believe in their teammates every single week, as you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Week
Like
in and
there's
week out.
times
Like
in
you said, I think you got to, like we talked about earlier, it's like proving to yourself that you can win first, then proving to yourself that you can dominate, and your culture and how you do things and your operation is how you dominate. And week in and week out, everyone, just sticking to the script and dominating people is something that you build up over time for sure.
Well, it's also you got to give up yourself, right? Because it's like when you first get into the league, you're so hard, you connect into the stats, right? It's like, well, it's 3rd and 5, right? We in the red zone, and every quarterback is a runner, because the field's shorter, DBs don't have it. It's like every quarterback can do a quarterback draw and get to the end zone, right? And then as a rusher, you're so busy thinking about getting a sack that you run up the field and the nose tackle gets stuck on the line between the guards. So now there's an open gap and the guy runs into the to the end zone. It's like when you start to become a team that's winning, you don't even care about the sack. You're mostly worried about, can we get this quarterback not to get a touchdown and either turn this into a field goal or make an incomplete pass or create a turnover, but not in a situation where you're like, you know what, no matter what, I'm about to ramp the field. It's like you start to think about the game a lot differently when there's a text game called. You're like, you know what, I'm going to run the text properly. But sometimes when you're on a bad team, you just like, I got to get mine. But it's like when somebody's calling you a play like, hey, on this exit game, I need you to hold the guard, and you hold the guard and you don't come off early because you believe in sacrificing yourself for the greater good. Yeah, at the end of the season, you don't have those J.J. Watt stats, but at the end of the season, you're holding the Lombardi. So that becomes like when you start to try that trade-off where it's like you're doing everything to give up yourself, but it's really hard to do that.
Nah, for sure. That and all that comes together and is definitely built over time. Special guest joining the show, our first guest of this season. This is a guy that I've been playing with for 2 years now. We sit next to each other in meetings every day. This is my guy, my friend, amazing player, has helped us win a lot of games. DaVon Hamilton, what's up, bro?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
Good, man. Can't complain. Appreciate you joining the show.
No problem.
Yeah, let's get into it, man. We're not going to grill you. We got a couple fun questions. I feel that this is cool opportunity for me. I love having my teammates on the show because I get to, show fans and everyone a different side of their personality. We always got the helmet on. I feel like people don't get to know us as people that often. So I love having my teammates on the show. So appreciate you joining.
Sure.
And so I know you're from Ohio, played at Ohio State,
Big buck.
and you've been in Jacksonville now 6 years. You started your family here. You have a beautiful family. And what's it been like living here in Jacksonville and starting your family here and really spreading your roots here in Florida?
Oh, it's been great, man. Obviously, like you said, I'm from Ohio. Don't really miss the cold too much being down here, so that's always nice. Living next to the beach and whatnot, but it's been a cool experience, though. I mean, living in Jacksonville, getting immersed in the culture down here, it's been nice.
That's what's up.
Well, I got a question because it's like going to Ohio State and like coming from this winning organization, like Ohio State continuously wins every single year or is competing for the championship, and then walking into your first couple years in Jacksonville, how was that adjusting to that or trying to bring a winning culture to Jacksonville when you're such a young player, or at least just understanding how to win? What was your thought process when you got drafted?
My thought process was just like, I honestly didn't know too much about Jacksonville before getting in the league. Like, I ain't never expect to even come here or be here that long, you know what I mean? Like, to be honest with you. But, I mean, it was definitely difficult starting off. Like, my first year, we went like 1-15. So it was definitely a learning experience from that. But, I've just been trying to like bring the energy, bring a different like mentality to the team. being a believer and whatnot, and bringing God into the space in the locker room and that type of deal is definitely been felt over the years. So,
Nah, you've been a huge presence in our locker room and on our team, and a great teammate for sure, and a great teammate to have and work with every day. And too, like, I feel that you don't always get the credit that you deserve. You're the true, like, definition of a nose guard in the NFL. Do all the dirty work, take on all the double teams. You free up me to do my job better as well too. So I want to give you your flowers for that. A lot of people don't pay attention to run defense in the NFL, and they look at, stats and sacks and all the stuff that's flashy. But when you turn on the tape, you've been one of the best nose guards in the NFL, for a few years now, and so I want to give you your flowers, and I want people to start paying attention more to the stuff that really matters in football, which is, I always tell people on the show, it starts with stopping the run first, to make a team one-dimensional, and then getting after the passer. So being a nose guard, what is life like? I want you to explain what is life like being a nose guard in the NFL.
You kind of explained it pretty well. Like, a lot of people don't know like what we do, or how important we are to the game. You got to get really used to getting double team, freeing up linebackers. You really like kind of like the offensive line, the linebackers for real. So it's interesting though. I enjoy playing it. I like sacrificing myself and serving my teammates and whatnot. But it's fun for me. Get after people a little bit. So yeah.
Yep. No, that's what's up. Cool moment. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say, I feel like nose tackles is. I mean, you a big ass nose tackle though. I feel like 6'4" is kind of crazy to be a nose tackle. I'm just like, damn, man. Y'all walk out there. You got Josh Allen. Josh is what? How tall is he?
Josh is like 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
And you like 6'6". You 6'4", and the other D tackles and defensive ends are how tall?
Trey is 6'5", 6'6" too.
Yeah.
So it's like y'all got a big ass defensive line. I've never seen a nose tackle 6'4". Like, that's crazy. Like, especially playing those gaps and kind of nose tackle kind of position. I had a good opportunity to play with a lot of good nose tackles. I think a lot of times people don't really understand like the positioning of nose tackles, just being able to like be the anchor of the defense. Like, you're really the central point of the defense, whether it's 3-4 or 4-3. Like, you got to be able to be either the shade of the center, head up on the center, or in a G. And I think those positions, it's like you're starting off in a fight with your arm behind your back because you always out of position, really, because it's like somebody always has a flank on you, whether it's the guard or it's the center. So and being able to take on those hits at a taller guy, that's pretty impressive, honestly.
No, appreciate you, bro.
Yep. Cool moment a couple weeks ago when we faced the Los Angeles Rams in London. You took the field, and on the other side of the field was your brother, Ty Hamilton, who's a rookie defensive lineman for the Rams. What was that experience like, taking the field, competing against your brother, and see him realize his dreams of making it to the NFL too?
That was super cool, man. It was the first time ever like being on the same field together. Like, I never played with him at any point in time. We're 5 years difference, so for me, it was like super cool to see my brother like actually doing what he does, man. Actually go out there and play and be on the field and actually play. It's not as easy in the NFL to go out there and play and have a team actually have you active and on the field. So it was super cool. It was almost like a surreal moment. Like, I really wanted him to do well, and he got a few tackles or whatever. But I don't know. It's like I'm rooting for them, but kind of want the Jags to win. So it was a different feeling for sure.
Yeah. Nah, it definitely could be like that. When you got love for someone on the other team, and it can be a little bit of a weird feeling, for sure.
Yeah, it's like when you play against your brother too. It's like you want them to do good, but not good enough for you to lose the game. You know,
For
it's
sure.
like, yo, play good, but don't play great. You know,
Yeah.
it's like get 100 yards, but don't get no tuds. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's like be good, like get a TFL, but don't get a sack fumble. You know, just so it's like you want them to be successful, but you know, you're like, but I can't lose while you being successful.
For sure.
I think it's interesting because you know having a brother in the NFL too, just like there's such a legacy in the NFL was Peyton Manning, J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt, you know Manning's, us, you guys,
the Bennetts, man.
The Bennetts. I
Eric,
remember growing up seeing y'all,
Armstead.
bro.
Oh, thank you, man. I think you know it's good to have a brother in the NFL, so you don't have to pay for everything. You know, it's like every once in a while,
that's facts.
you want somebody else to pay for dinner, though. Be real though, right? Like you're like, yo, bro, like you know, mom and dad need a, you know, I can't do it this time. You can do it. Like that's nice sometimes.
Nah, that's facts. Were you and Martellus competitive, Mike?
When we played against each other,
Yeah.
no, I think because we also went to college together. Like they like moved us to different sides. In high school, we played the same team, so it's kind of like we just do enough to not get fired, kind of. You know, like
Yeah.
it's like you know, like because for me, when I see a tight end, I just be like, yeah. It's about, I'm about to make the play. Like when I see a tight end, I look at them and I be like, I'm more superhuman than they are, so they can't win. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but then I look at my brother, I'm like, I'm gonna set the edge. You know, I ain't gonna pick him up and you know run through him like I do most of the guys. But so it's hard though because it's like you don't want to hurt your brother either. So it's like, you know.
How many times did you guys play against each other?
I forgot. It must have been like 4 or 5 times. Some in preseason. I remember one time we played the Bears in preseason, and he had to, you know, when he come back to cut you, and we just kind of like met in preseason, you know, like preseason. So it's like I didn't do enough where the gap, you know, they ran stretch the opposite way. He came back to cut me. So it's like, you know, like it was like we just kind of did the thing. It was preseason.
That's funny. That's funny. I definitely couldn't, you know. You definitely could hurt your brother out there. I heard a crazy story, though, about John Lynch. And John Lynch's wife, brother played in the NFL too.
Oh, wow.
So they end up playing against each other, and there was a bunch of talk about, you know, them playing against each other. And John's brother-in-law played I think receiver, tight end. He was a pass catcher, and he came across the middle, and John hit him as hard as he could and like knocked him out.
Oh my goodness.
In front of the family, bro.
Well, he
And
what you supposed to do?
his wife,
you sleeping with your sister. Like it's not your brother. It's like it's the guy that's with my sister. Like you know, like
you can look at it like that too. And so after the game, his wife came up, "What are you doing? Why'd you hit my brother like that?" And John was like, "He had the ball. Like, what do you mean? He had the ball. That's what I'm supposed to do." But he told me he was in trouble for quite some time after that. But yeah, man, it's like interesting having, you know, ties with other players and, you know, obviously family and love on the other sideline, man. That would be a crazy experience for sure.
I don't blame John Lynch, honestly. Like, if it's not your blood brother and it's just your sister's brother, it's kind of like, everybody get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody get it. Like,
Everybody can get it.
I don't know. I ain't spent Christmas with him growing up. I ain't shared no bed with him. I don't even know his favorite color. He a op to me, like, you know what I'm saying? He a little dirt, you know, like get that shit back in blood.
Nah, for sure. Sunday was obviously a crazy game. I'm sure people on here watching saw it. And I've been playing with you for 2 years now, and I've seen you make some amazing plays. But I don't think I've ever seen you jump that high.
Hey.
You jumped batted the ball, won us the game, play of the game. There was a guy open in the end zone. If you didn't jump up there and bat that ball, we could have very easily lost. So take me through, obviously I was out there with you, but take me through that last drive, what you were thinking, and what you were thinking in that moment on that play.
Say, honestly, the last drive, man, I was out there. I don't know. I was just trying to make a play for real. Like, they was really driving us. They had some momentum on us. I was really just trying to do whatever I could to make a stop there. But that last play, honestly, I was talking to Josh right before the play started. And he was like, I couldn't hear him. It was so loud. I think he was trying to say, like, cover or something like that. So I was like, what are you talking about? So I'm expecting him to do a cover, come inside on the tackle. And I kind of looked around. He's all the way upfield. I'm like, oh, wow. I looked out there and looked back. I was like, oh, there's Gino right here. I can't get through him. I was getting double teamed at the time. I was like, oh, he about to really throw the ball. Let me jump up and get it back. Because usually I don't really think about that. I don't know. It's just not like my first reaction.
Yeah, mine neither.
Yeah. It's like, oh, yeah.
But y'all 7 feet tall, though. That should be one of y'all first reactions is when y'all can't get to the quarterback to get your hands up.
It's just like, bro, you just trying to finish your rush and beat the offensive lineman. I don't even be thinking half the time about trying to bat a ball.
But at some point, you don't beat the offensive lineman. It's just better to get your hands up because it's like, you're like, yo, you know what? They got me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like.
I wouldn't even think about that, honestly. I was like, oh, I got an opportunity because it's been a couple times in the last couple of games like, dang, I could have batted that ball. Like, really thinking about it, like looking back at the film, I could have batted that. And this time I was like actually thinking about it. I was like, oh, this is a hop right here. I wouldn't even think about it being the end of the game either. Like, to be honest with you, like
it literally was last play.
Well, I think that was a beautiful play because I think sometimes it comes down to like in 2-minute drill, it really comes down to defensive line in the big games, right? It's like we have to force some type of turnover, some type of fumble, but we have to do it in a way that doesn't compromise the defense. We have to do it in a way that like we don't take a chance that becomes a wide open hole for a quarterback to run into. It's like, how does the defensive line make the play? Like on offense, it's the quarterback. The quarterback has to make the right throws. The defensive line got to put a stop to it. We have to get a sack, force fumble, bat a ball down, make a TFL, sit on the running back where he can't get up so they can spike the ball. So that's really our drive, really, at the end of the day. It's like it can't be really the DBs. It really comes down to the defensive line in those minutes. So it's like as much as we can make those plays, it changes everything when we can bat a ball down, right? Because it happens right at the line. It's harder for the quarterback. That means that there was a lot, the receivers were covered. So I don't know. I feel like that was a great play because that's really kind of a game-defining play in moments like that.
Yeah, it was an awesome play. And what were you saying? I tried to tell him.
I tried to tell him, you know.
I tried to tell him.
I say that all the time when the coach like bring up, I can drop or I can catch the ball or I can, do stuff that I'm normally not asked to do. Usually me and Eric's little thing though. Like
I tried to tell him, man.
Well, that's always hard though to see a coach kind of understand what is it like if we put Arik and DaVon on the same side, but we put DaVon on the outside, put Arik on the inside, and just start to use the strengths of what you guys have to find the weaknesses in the offense because it's like, yo, you can't
the looks up.
You're just changing the looks up, like a play where you beat a nose and he wrap around. If I was a defensive line coach, which I could be, I just choose not to be. It would be about how do you make those mismatches happen? Like both of you guys on one side and you guys just crash the whole defensive line and bring Josh all the way back around to wrap around, get a free sack. It's like starting to move things around like that kind of changes the whole kind of trajectory of a defense when you have these players because defensive linemen are very interesting creatures because it's like some of us look like offensive linemen, but we have the ability of a linebacker. It's like defensive linemen are it's like the way an offensive lineman looks like that's really his limited ability. It's like, yo, he looks like he can't run, so most likely he can't run. But then you meet a defensive tackle, you're like, yo, this guy's body does not make sense, but he can do it all. You look at Brandon Ebay and you're like, yo, but then he's gets in there, you're like, well, he can do a spin move, because it's like, we like the most athletic people on the team in a lot of ways. Like when you talk about athleticism and the size of scale of a human body, like defensive linemen have like dudes could do some crazy shit. You know, you'd be like, yo, did he just dip under somebody and jump over the next person and then got a strip sack? It's like, yo, the rushers are some of the most athletic human people on the team. They're just as athletic as running back and receivers.
Yeah, true. Some D linemen used to play running back.
Yeah,
and they just ate a little too much. And we got one of our coaches always says, when he's talking about offensive linemen, like if they were any better, they would be in the room with us.
literally every
He always says that. He was like, if they were any better, they would be in this room with you guys.
Yeah.
That's why they're over there. So, but yeah, man, defensive linemen, we're definitely freaks in nature for sure. Switching gears to something a little more fun. Of all people, when we're talking about food, you might be a bigger foodie than me. And I was quite honestly astonished when me and you were having a conversation about food. And you told me that you never get full.
That's a fact.
And I was mind boggled by how does someone never get full? Like there's no amount of food that can make you feel the sensation of being full.
I don't know. Like I can always eat, bro. I mean, maybe that's why I'm a nose. I don't know.
That's some crazy.
So explain this to the people, because this was the craziest statement I ever heard. So there's never been a time where you have ate and been like, I'm full, like I can't eat no more. Like you always have space for some more.
Nah, yeah, it's always been like that, bro. Like I remember this one story in high school. I used to play offensive line, so we went to an offensive line dinner. Went to a little taco spot. I probably ate like 30 tacos. Mm-hmm. No cap. Went home, ate me like 2 bowls of beef stew. Right after that, I mean a big old glass of what do you call it? Freaking ice cream. Still was straight. Came back downstairs later on that night, had me a little snack.
Nah,
it just don't happen. I don't know.
Wait, your bowel movements don't work? Well, I mean, I'm not understanding like.
I'll be straight. I'll be straight.
I feel like you just be constipated all the time eating that much goddamn food, So see, I thought you were talking about a foodie. Is that like you like go to Michelin star restaurants?
He does that. He does that too. Yeah. He does that too. But I'm saying,
do you survive at a Michelin star restaurant because they give you just, bite-sized petite dishes. I mean,
you know what?
Nah, he's not picking this spots.
Nah.
What's your speaking of food? What's your favorite spots in Jacksonville to get a bite to eat?
I'm really not picky when it comes to foods. I really try it all. But if I had to pick like probably my top spots, I'll probably go to Carolina Jacks. Nice little
that's fire. Burger spot.
Go crazy. I got a Filipino spot called Abstract out here.
Oh, chicken adobo.
Good. But to be honest, bro, like I really try to go everywhere. Like Valley Smoke. Anywhere around Jacksonville, they say they got good food. I gotta try it, bro.
Yeah. I feel like that was the first thing I did when I moved here. It was like I got on Yelp.
Mm-hmm. That's what it be.
Shout out to Yelp. Y'all can sponsor us if y'all want to. And I was looking up the restaurants, bro. I was like, I gotta find where the good food is at. And now I got my main spots. Those are definitely some good spots. You put me on the Carolina Jacks though. That spot. That's the best burger in town for sure. But Jacksonville got some good food. Got some good food spots. Got some variety too. So we be getting after it. Our D-line meals definitely they get up there.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not understanding what's going on with your brain, that your brain doesn't connect to your stomach. That's just what I'm what I'm getting. I'm getting that.
You know what it is? You know what it is, Mike? I think I just figured it out.
No, I'm saying a lot of humans have this thing where they're disconnected and then this thing shuts off at a certain point. But he's like, he don't have a shut off valve. It's just
you know how people don't feel pain? You know how some people don't feel pain? he doesn't feel hungry, bruh. It's like whatever the sensation or the nerve in his body is just shut off.
Yeah, it's in his brain. It can't. Maybe play football so long that it just got so loose that he just can't turn it back on. I mean, it's a good thing. Not when you retire, you might want to
that retirement
change up. Yeah, but now it's kind of like you're doing so much athletic stuff. It kind of makes sense. But that's a crazy thing. I never heard that before. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you, bro, joining the show. I don't want to take up all of your off day. This was definitely fun. I'm glad people got to learn a bit more about you, and also too, I want to say thank you, appreciate you for not only joining the show, but for getting us our win and making the play of the game, bro. So shout out to you. I appreciate you, bro.
I do got one question before we cut off. One question. Growing up, what was your favorite D tackles? What D tackles did you watch to even want to play D tackle?
I feel like that's a loaded question. I feel like I just watch ball, bro. Like,
yeah.
You could play. I want to be like, obviously Aaron Donald, but obviously I'm not built like that. That's not my skill set. But like, I really watch pretty much everybody for real. Like, try to take little snippets of like everybody's game. Like I said, I used to watch you growing up. Like, obviously not a D tackle, but he was athletic. I was like, I gotta get something from him. I gotta get something. Yeah, I used to watch them all, bro.
No, so give us like five guys that you love watching growing up.
Growing up, I would say specifically noses, BJ Raji.
BJ Raji.
Yeah.
Used to watch him a lot.
He was nice.
Dang, bro. It's kind of tough on the spot. I ain't gonna lie. I can't think of too many other dudes right now off the top of my head.
BJ Raji's a good one. BJ Raji was dominant for sure. He had his years where he was dominant. So
yeah, I used to watch Justin Smith. Justin Smith was one of my favorite players to watch. Justin Smith was a beast. Yeah.
Justin Smith was nice. Other nose guards, I think talking about nose guards, like two of the best nose guards that I've seen is Haloti Ngata and Damon Harrison, bro. Damon Harrison used to do some wild stuff at nose guard. He used to do
some crazy stuff. He had some very nice feet too. Mine I would say Brandon Mebane was mine. I got to play with him, and I had never been with a D tackle that was so smart that it made me smarter. Like, he'd be calling out the plays and stuff. Like, when you just like, not even just athleticism, but like to be able to know the game in the sense of how people are lined up, what plays they might run. Like, he made me such a better player too, because it was like, damn, it was like I had to watch more film than him, you know. So it's like, yeah, every once in a while, it's like, damn, how you know that happening, you know? So it's like he was good.
Yeah. Nah, nose guards are slept on, bro. Nose guards need some love. They've been holding it down for a long time in the NFL. And defenses don't work without them, and our defense doesn't work without you, bro. So I appreciate you joining the show, and shoot, I'll see you tomorrow at work.
For sure.
All right, bro. Man. Appreciate you, D-Ham, for joining our show, and we're definitely looking forward to next week. Looking ahead at our opponent next week.
Yo, wait. Before you look at the opponent next week, there's just some interesting things that just happened, particularly to the Jaguars. I think this is a great acquisition. You guys just got Jakobi Meyers from the Oakland Raiders for a 4th and a 6th round pick, which says a lot. Yeah, which says a lot, though, because at this point, to give up a 4th and a 6th pick for a guy, that's pretty – I think it's pretty good, because at this time, Jakobi Meyers brings something to the team that you guys already have a lot of high energy, great players in the receiver, but then bringing another person in who's tough, that makes the catches in the middle. Like, this is a big – I think this is one of the best trades for during the middle of the season, to get somebody who is a tough receiver, who makes a lot of great plays. I think this is one of those kind of missing pieces that we were talking about. What is missing is, like, if you don't have that tight end that makes those tough catches in the middle of the field and doesn't care about his body, well, you found the guy who doesn't care about his body, that just wants to make big plays, and I think that's Jakobi Meyers.
Nah, that's awesome. He's going to be a huge help for our team. Ironically, we just played against him, so we had to prepare for him, and we know he was a big target for the Raiders and their offense, and super competitive guy. It's going to be interesting. It's very interesting because he was talking a lot of mess out there on Sunday to our DBs, and now he's a teammate of ours. So, it won't be no smoke, but it's still going to be a little funny just competing with the guy, and now he's joining our team. But I think he'll be a huge help. Like you said, he adds a different element of receiver, a tough pass catcher in the middle of the field. So that's dope, man. We're making some moves.
Oh, I think that's good too, because I think offensively, being able to get some more gritty players, and defensively just having that grittiness in those, like you guys already have those tight games, but even having another, sometimes you bring in a player who's high profile, who has talent but doesn't have like that mentality, him coming from the Patriots, going to the Raiders, but just being a person who has that mentality of toughness. I had a chance to play with Jakobi his rookie year, and he was just one of those tough guys that just did everything, special teams, whatever it took to get on the field. And I think he's never lost that mentality, regardless of the success that he's having, or he's blocking on a run play, doing a chop block, throwing whatever it takes to just win a game. You need a couple of those guys like that on your team to really get to the next level.
No, that's awesome. I didn't know that you played with him. So,
yeah.
No, that's great. I think it's going to be great for our team, and great, for these stretch of games and trying to get to where we're trying to go.
All right, continuing on the breaking news, Arik just got some surprise information about a new teammate. The Jags making a big acquisition middle of the season, and now the Indianapolis Colts, which to me is the Jaguars' biggest competition in the conference, and for them to add a weapon, you guys get a receiver. And they say, well, you get a receiver, guess what we'll do? We'll do one more. We'll get another piece to make sure that you guys don't think you're getting one up on us. We'll go get Sauce Gardner. Consider was NFL Rookie of the Year, he's been an All-Pro, been a Pro Bowler, but it's had a down season, I think, going from the coach that he had before to Aaron Glenn, who is a DB, who's probably just on him and on him and on him. He hasn't been able to be the player that he was prior to 2 years ago. So this opportunity for him to go to the Colts, which is a winning team, who is a Super Bowl contending team.
What'd they give up, man? What'd they give up?
They gave up, the house, the car. It was like being Mackenzie Bezos in a divorce with Jeff Bezos.
They gave up a kid. They gave up a kid too?
Yeah, they gave up everything. I mean, they gave up 2 first-round picks, which is crazy when you think about it. And to take on such a big contract, a $30 million a year contract with Sauce, to put him in a conference, to be that guy. Which it's a good opportunity, because Sauce hasn't been on a good team in a while, a championship caliber team. So this might bring something out of him that's a little bit different. This is an opportunity for Sauce to prove to everybody that he is that guy, that he can't be on a winning team, that he can't
That's a bold move they making.
Well, they got to make a bold move. You guys just made a bold move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a bold move they're making.
Do something, and then you don't do something. It gets like, they did what? Yeah, we got to do something bigger. Like, he got the Benz. We got to get the Wraith. It's like, what? He got the Rolex. We got to get the Patek. That's how it is.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a bold move. For sure, a big decision on their part. Sauce is outstanding player, and the Colts are having a good season, and whenever a team is having a good season and they feel like they're right there to compete for a championship, you make moves like this, and we're making a move. They made a move. Gave up a lot though. 2 first-round picks. That's an interesting move for sure.
That's to make a break.
It's a move. Right? It's a move that has been made before. The Rams traded for Jalen Ramsey back in the day. All pro corner, and
Aqib Talib. They traded for Von Miller. They whenever they had a chance to they felt like they were just right at that position. The Rams always went out and made that acquisition to win. I mean, that's interesting about them. It's like, you got to go. They went big. It's like, you can't go to Tulum. Like, you don't want to go to Tulum. If you're watching
Tulum
this, please.
Fire, bro.
Yeah, if you've never been to Ischia, or if you've never been to Lake Como, yeah, Tulum is fire. But it's like when you've been to Lake Como or you've been to Geneva, it's different vibe. Or even Punta Mita, it's like it's different. You
Okay.
don't want to go. You don't want to go
Okay.
to Tulum.
You trying to
So
do they trying to do their big one is what you saying.
yeah, they doing their big one until somebody tells you like you never been to so and so. It's like. So it's
Okay.
like, yeah, I think you got to go big in these situations. When I think you guys went big to me because you guys are filling the void in y'all team to make your team even better. They're giving up a lot to bet on Sauce being who Sauce is, which the verdict is still out, right? Like so, because we gave him the money, we asked to start him, but he hasn't been able to produce, and especially in man coverage.
So Jets are in full rebuild mode.
Yeah, they got to be. I mean, the Jets have historically been one of the worst teams in the NFL. I mean, it's been a while since the Jets have been that dominant team that they once were with Mark Gastineau and then thinking about Curtis Martin and all those kind of teams. It's been a while since, even if you just go to, when Mark was there and they had a pretty good team with Darrelle Revis and all those guys. It's been a while since the Jets have been a really good team. I'll give the Jets their credit though, because they've tried to be a good team. They've done the acquisitions of, we're getting Aaron Rodgers. We have Devontae Adams. Like you can't say that, nobody can say that the Jets is not trying. Like they're trying.
No, they did that. And you got to try. Like you said, they're in New York City. You can't stop trying there in the biggest market in the world. So they got to try. But, man, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Things got a lot more interesting. I'm really kind of excited to see what happens the rest of the day. And see, I don't know what time the trade deadline ends, but it's been cooking early.
4 p.m. Eastern.
4 p.m. Eastern. So we got a few more hours.
Yeah, people.
Got a few more hours. I don't know. Continue to see what happens. Huge story going on in the world of sports currently is gambling, sports betting. That has now become a big part of sports. And, just played in Las Vegas and looking back at the really start of all this, when the Raiders moved to Las Vegas, the NFL specifically was in somewhat of a new era, a team entering a city with, legalized gambling and Vegas being kind of known for that was kind of uncharted territory for the NFL at that time. And also you add in sports betting, which has now become a sensation really around our country and has grown a lot. And there sometimes can be a yin and a yang or a double-edged sword for things and decisions to be made. And once you implement sports betting into sports, into the NFL, there's pros and cons to everything. It has definitely increased revenue. Business is booming. It has made the game more and more enticing for fans. I feel that fans, between fantasy, football, and sports betting, fans are more invested into the game more than ever now. And that also has pros and cons. Viewership is up. Deals are up. Like I said, revenue and business is booming. But also, there's athletes, coaches getting in trouble. There is also more hate for athletes coming from fans, more than we ever seen. And so this is an interesting conversation for me and something that I both personally deal with and sports and the NFL as a whole has kind of been dealing with. So, Mike, what's your take on what's your take on this topic? On on sports betting, gambling, and how it's been such intertwined into sports. Guys getting in trouble. We saw that Chauncey Billups was arrested. Terry Rozier was arrested, part of an FBI investigation. It's like, that's not good for business.
I think with the players being able to, with fans having the ability to bet on the game and more people betting on the games, the NFL people can bet on games. It's like at some point we knew that could be a possibility that a player would be enticed with the possibility of betting on a game and winning earnings. I mean, I don't think you could really do that in the NFL per se, because you would have to play so bad that.
Are you talking about? You're talking about rigging games, or
even betting on the NFL game, right? It's like, I mean, to bet on a game and to bet on a game that you're planning, like that's even more wild. To be like, yo, I'm playing, and in the third quarter, I'm gonna fake an injury or not block. I mean, it could be done, but I mean, a defense line, I think you could do it. You can act like you set an edge and don't set the edge. I mean, but to bet on a game, I don't think you can have as many the outcome that you could do as in basketball. But I think fans challenging players on where they are mentally, the way that betting is, the accessibility to betting just through your phone, booking. Like, I mean, there was even something with your organization when a guy stole $22 million betting on games across the world. I mean, that was even a crazy story that he stole $22 million and nobody knew. I mean, that was crazy too. Like, he just was betting $25,000 an hour at one point. Like, I think the thing about gambling though is such an addictive thing. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not surprised that a player is doing it. I'm not surprised when a coach does it. I'm not surprised when anybody does it, right? Because there's something about the high of winning that's like a dopamine that changes the way you feel about yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's and we've seen different stories and cases of guys getting in trouble and not necessarily betting on themselves or games they're involved in. They're just fans of sports betting and want to bet, and probably something they have been doing for a while, but it can lead to not such good business. And I think it's a small degree of separation from just leisurely betting into you getting in the hole, and then now people are preying on you to have some type of impact. I was watching an interview of a former mafia boss who was talking about how back when he was active, how they used to get players, and they would get a gambling debt, and it was like, all right, you want to pay this off? This is how you pay this off. You go and do this, and so there's that side of things, but there's also kind of the more more naive, kind of innocent side of guys just betting on games and stuff like that that they're not even involved in. So.
But the thing that gets me though, I don't know how, like, Terry Rozier, like, I don't understand, like, he's making like $28 million a year, so I'm kind of confused on how.
I think it's a competitive thing, bro. I think that athletes are naturally competitors, and I think gambling kind of fits our personality a little bit because that's what we do on the daily. Like, playing football is a gamble, right? Like, you're putting it on the line, you're gambling, something that is, you're gambling your health a little bit, you're gambling, taking a lot of risk, having to have a lot of confidence in yourself and put it all on the line in hopes of, it paying off and you getting rewarded.
So is your point of view that maybe like a guy like Terry Rozier isn't doing it for the money, or is he doing it for the money? That's why I'm kind of confused at, because it's like there's some guys. Are you saying that some guys are so addicted to competition they keep gambling? I know that Michael Jordan had a bad gambling habit when he was, playing.
Yeah.
But he would play blackjack. He wasn't betting on the game.
Yeah, no, my thing is we don't know what Terry Rozier did. We know what he's accused of. We don't know for a fact what he did. But I think implementing sports betting and gambling into our sport and making it public or a nationwide okay thing to do, it opens up the doors a little bit for athletes who are already competitive, who already gamble in other ways, to want to gamble and bet on sports as well too. And that pathway can lead down a road of trouble. Guys get in trouble for a multitude of reasons. Now, I think what some of these people are being accused of in terms of rigging games, and, well, they're being accused of different things. Kind of manipulating your stats or something like that for prop bets and things like that. I think that's a different conversation of, yeah, like the point can be made like, bro, you make a lot of money. Why would you risk that? Why would you even kind of take it there? And so yeah, I think it's a very interesting conversation because the leagues have got ahead of it because they know once sports betting was implemented and a part of sports culture and approved by all the leagues, they knew there was going to be a window for a little bit of crack in there for players to, and staff and coaches to start getting in trouble. And so, but I think the risk outweighs the risk outweighs or the reward.
How would you feel though if you was invited to a game and you lost some money and you found out that it was rigged? Would you be upset, or would you just charge it to the game, or would you just be like, yo, though, I don't even want anybody knowing that I was a part of it?
I'll be very upset. I mean, I have played, blackjack and different stuff at casinos, and I feel the same way there. I be feeling like the casino be cheating too when I lose.
Not the casino be cheating.
Like, I would feel the same way. And like, if I'm, a fan, and there's millions and billions of dollars being bet on all these things, you know what I'm saying? And I was someone who was losing my money, I would, definitely feel some type of way and not really like trust the system. And I think that's what they're trying to uphold is the integrity of it all, No,
but I would be upset too if I got invited to a game and found out that my teammate was stealing money from me, because that's basically what they're doing. They're inviting you over with the intention of stealing from you, like that would probably drive like a wedge in between the team, knowing that, yo, bro, I paid you knowing that you know what was going on in my life and you stole $100,000 from me because you didn't have the courage to play for real.
You talking about the rigged poker games now?
Yeah, just a rigged in general. You shooting dice or you're playing cards or whatever you're doing, which I never really got into, but I would be upset though.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the other side of this conversation is the increased investment of fans and increased viewership and fans being more invested into sports, whether that's by way of fantasy or gambling, sports betting. If you're putting your money on the line, you're going to be invested into what's happening in the game. And now that has been more prevalent around our country, I feel that fans are more invested into the game. But the flip coin of that is also the increased hate online for athletes. And you didn't hit my parlay. you sold me, you a bum because you didn't cover,
But where do you
stuff
see
like
this at,
that.
though? Where are you seeing this information at when fans are picking on people?
I see it all over. I get some of it too.
From how,
Uh,
though? Where do they send it to you? They send it to your mailbox, your email? Like,
yeah, it's DMs, it's comments, it's people, it's social media culture. Like there's whole like sports betting pages and platforms and people talking about like, oh, this don't bet on this guy because he gonna sell you and he not gonna hit his parlay and you're gonna be mad, blah blah blah. Like they be putting people on the ban list, like, oh, never bet on so and so because they're not gonna hit the parlay for you, or um, they're not gonna hit whatever you're betting. Like they're always
so it
going.
makes you question then. Is it really hate mail if you're reading it?
I think so. I think it
If you
is
got to go
hate.
out, if you got to go out and find a way to read it or go down, like, you got to go down to your comments to find it, is like, is it part of that on the player too, to be looking like you don't have to read it. It's like it doesn't you don't
I,
have to pay
I
attention to it.
think that, well, if we're gonna say hate mail, you don't have to read your mail like a letter in the mail. You got to open your mail.
No, I'm talking about hate mail in the sense that mail is technically electronic now.
I
But I'm
know that's
saying,
that's and that's what I'm saying. I feel that our world is electronic now, and I think that as social media has grown, we as athletes have been told, like, at different times, well, don't read it, turn off this, turn off that, don't get on social media, don't do this. But it's hard to tell a person that's had their whole life with social media and is a big part of their life. So it's like telling someone you can't have, or you shouldn't, have access to something that is a part of all of our worlds and, connects you to people. And,
well, I'm not saying that you can't.
this generation of athletes, they've had social media their entire life, their
Well, I'm
entire
saying,
career.
but some of that feels like an excuse, though. Some of it feels like, at some point, I feel like people got to be able to just not read the things that make them feel a certain way. It's like, if you don't like it, just change the channel or turn the thing. If it's not directly towards you, or like you have to go down to your comment sections and stroll. I think it's because people also feed their ego with the positivity. It's like you look through it and it feel good when people are saying you're playing good, but then when you look at it and read and it says bad, you also bring it on yourself a little bit. I think as a player, sometimes I think it is okay to like not read what people are saying about you, to be really focused on winning, not caring. I mean, it's super hard, but I don't think you need to read into everything that somebody says to you. I think that's the problem with a lot of this stuff now.
Yeah, I agree that being able to tune out the noise is important as an athlete. But actual hate and like some of the stuff that's being said, so I'll tell you about a situation. Like, I actually got threatened. Like, I'll come blow up this, I'll do this to your family. And
What'd you do?
nothing, for posting a video that someone didn't like.
What was the video about?
About nothing, bro. It's about football. And it was about football. It was me talking about a pick stunt that we ran versus Seattle, actually versus y'all. And some Seahawks fan didn't like the video.
No, you're not gonna it's not my team, huh?
It was a Seahawks fan, bro.
Damn.
Seahawks fan didn't like the video, and the message was, I'll come blow up, I'll do this to your family. I'm not going to get too descriptive, but I honestly feel that this social media climate and everything that's going on social media, and how like easy and simple it is for someone to access athletes and players and those type of things. And this like hate and like everyone trying to roast each other, you know what I'm saying, trying to make the funniest joke possible. I feel like that whole environment has created where people feel okay to like actually send hateful messages and send hateful stuff and then think that, oh, it's just social media. Like, no, this stuff is serious, bro. Like threats and all this stuff happens.
Did you find the person?
Yeah, person got arrested.
And what the person said when they got arrested?
I have anger issues. I apologize. But he's going to jail because he that's a federal crime.
Oh, yeah. Was he? Where was he? White, black?
I don't know.
You never saw him?
No, I never saw him.
Wow.
But that's a federal crime. And so I just feel that this is part of the conversation because as people are losing money and they're directly, you know, there's very few things that's going to make someone more mad than losing some money. Especially some money that you probably shouldn't be gambling with, if we're being honest.
I could think of a couple of things.
But that would be up there for someone losing some money and them directly attesting that to the athlete. Like, you lost me this, so I'm going to come on your page and say, F you this, I hate you, I'll do this and that to you, blah, 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 because you lost me money, has added to this negative environment of hate online.
Well, I understand what you're saying. That makes sense to that point. But I think when players are betting on games, like, they have a choice. I'm just saying, like, at some point the player has to take responsibility for their contribution or their participation in something, like, you know, whether it's gambling, whether it's, you know, reading in too much into not hate mail, but just the criticism that fans have on them and like ignoring it. I think too many times we are reading the criticism that keeps us bound. I think it's about time that we just stop giving it energy and stop feeding into it, right? They're hoping that we read it. They're hoping that they can ruin our day. That's the opposite of what you're saying, though, because that's different when somebody's threatening your family and is out there trying to kill you. But in the sense of, you know, players betting on games or players rigging games or taking away the integrity of what a game is. You know, Pete Rose is one of the best baseball players of all time, but never got into the Hall of Fame while he was alive because he bet on the game, which I thought there had to be purgatory, and which was a little bit too far. But I think Terry Rozier, looking at the rest of the game or just seeing people's addiction to gambling, you know, how does one not do that? You know,
How do you navigate through?
Or just having the confidence and the intelligence not to be a part of that, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think you're right. It's a very interesting conversation, and we would love to.
I'm not saying that like you can gamble if you want to go to a blackjack and play 21 or play poker or do whatever, and you lose it in the context of a casino. But to bring that into your job where you are challenging not only the integrity of the game, but the integrity of your teammates and the league and the history of it, I think that's where the issue comes in, is like when you're so bad at gambling that you have had to become a puppet for somebody else to even win.
Just like that guy who stole from the Jags, the former Jags worker. How you lose 22 million gambling?
Well, I don't
like you're that bad.
He's so bad. I don't even think the Jags would have been mad if he would have, you know, took 22 million and be like, yo, I invested in crypto.
Yo, I flipped this. At least if you turn 22 into 25.
Yeah, he's like I flipped this. My bad. It was just such a good investment. I just didn't have the capital. You know, they were making this thing called Airbnb, And I was like, yo, if I had $22 million to put into Airbnb, I can make it 150. So I stole from y'all. But the 150 that I made, I'm going to give you guys 80% of it, and I'm going to keep the 20. That would have been a different conversation.
To be honest, you are better off. You might as well take the gamble of putting it into a startup company before you go and go to the casino or bet on a sports game. You really are better off doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a interesting, always constantly evolving conversation and landscape, and one that is going to, now that we're in this new era of sports betting, it's going to constantly be there. Appreciate you joining us for another episode of Third and Long. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what you want to see from our show, what you're enjoying, because the show is all about you. And don't forget to check us out on another episode of Third and Long next week.